keep hearing this term called Supercore CPI. And can you explain what Supercore is?
Supercore CPI, yeah. So they just keep making up these new things like disinflation and all this stuff we're learning. So, CPI is the Consumer Price Index. There's lots of different measures for inflation. It's the one most people know about. It's the one that was just reported, about 10 days ago. And so they have what they call top line CPI. That just is everything in the basket, right? It's the one most people are familiar with, right around 6% right now, right? And then they call it core CPI. And so core CPI is the next step down. They take out food and energy. And the reason they do that is because the Federal Reserve wants to focus on core CPI. It's where they feel they can have an impact, right? Food and energy are these wild cards that's very difficult for the Federal Reserve to bring those prices back down. They focus on core. Well, one of the parts of core that's been getting kind of a lot of bad, press is the housing portion of it, because housing lags dramatically, right? So most of it, they basically what they do is it's rents.
Yep.
And so even if you own a home, they assume some value for rent that you would be paying to live in that home. Well, and based on actual rents that are being paid. Well, rents are signed up for, on usually a yearly basis, and they change, very slowly.
Yeah, people are saying there's like a 6-month lag period with rent, with those prices.
Exactly. So here you are, you're fighting inflation, you're trying to figure out what to do for the Federal Reserve, and you're going to raise rates, and those rates increases aren't going to be felt for a long time for the economy. And so maybe we need to take out this lagging piece of and we look at Supercore, which takes out not only food and energy, but it takes out rents, housing in this particular case. And now we're focusing more on really probably the goods and services inflation that is much more appropriate right now. And rents are important, but they just lag so much they kind of create some problems. And so they do have another measure of inflation that the Federal Reserve actually pays more attention to, which is called PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditure, and they look at core PCE. It's got a lot of services in it, and it's the one thing that Powell brought up on the Wednesday meeting was core PCE, where it was. It's at 4-point-something%, needing to get that down to 2%. And so always remember that. When you hear CPIs at 6 needing to get to 2, that's not true. They are looking at core PCE, getting that down to 2. Still a ways to go, but it was a lot higher. So, we're heading in the right direction as far as that goes.
What does PCE stand for?
Personal Consumption Expenditure.
Okay.
It's just a different basket. It's a little bit strange because it comes out so late. It'll come out essentially the last day of the month for the month prior. But the Fed looks at that much more so than CPI. They do look at CPI, but they key off of PCE a lot more so.
Yeah, the next release will be on the 31st.
Yeah, that's right at the end of the month for February. Yeah, so nobody pays attention, but we should.